We get to the chapter that is one of the most important in Excel, and that is the formulas. Firstly, let's talk about what types of formulas exist and what symbols are used in them. In this sheet, we see a list of groups of individual symbols. We can divide them into general, mathematic, logic, and text groups. So let's start with so-called mathematic formulas. A formula is generally an expression that is usually used for mathematical calculations, but you will see that formulas can do other things as well. We create the formula in the cell in which we want to enter the formula, or we use a formula bar. It's also used to edit the formula. Each formula begins with the symbol equals. We can try the first mathematical calculation on column D, specifically in cell D3, sequentially with the symbols plus, minus, times, divided, and power. Cell D3 will contain a formula starting with an equal sign, first with a basic calculation such as 3 plus 5. The formula is confirmed with the Enter key and the result is shown. To edit the formula, we first select the cell where it is, and we can make a change in the formula bar, similar to changing cell contents. Again, we confirm the formula with Enter. Another formula can be a difference, so for example equal to 9 minus 2. Enter, we see the result. An asterisk is used for multiplication. For example, we will try 7 times 9. The result will be 63. On some notebooks, it's written via FN and P or the right alt and underscore combination. The slash character we use for divide, so 70 divided by 7 will be 10. And the last character is used for the power, which most users will never use, but it still belongs to this group of formulas. It's written using a special key combination. There are even more of these combinations, but I most often use the left alt and 94. We write, for example, 5, left alt 94, and let's finish with 2 and confirm with Enter. I would also like to mention the parentheses, which, like in mathematics, are used for prioritized operations. Without parentheses, multiplication and division take precedence over addition and subtraction in a larger number of operations in a formula. If you use parentheses, then parentheses take precedence. We can demonstrate it in following example. I write equals 5 plus 10 divided by 2. If I write it without parentheses, the ratio 10 divided by 2 will have priority first, which is 5, plus 5 is 10. If we use parentheses in this notation, that is equals, round bracket, 5 plus 10, we end the bracket, and we divide the whole by 2. Then the calculation will be performed first using the sum in brackets, that is 15, divided by 2, which is 7.5. You will usually not use absolute numbers in formulas, but rather cell references, which has many positives. In column E, I would like to double the column D. So write a formula in cell E3. It's equal to 2 times, and now I will not write 9, but by clicking on the cell where the 9 is located in the formula, we get its address. We already know that each cell has its own address, and here you can see what the address will be used for. Once you have a reference to a cell in the formula keeps track of what is in the cell and recalculates the calculation whenever it changes. We confirm with Enter and see the result 18. To apply this same formula to the entire column downwards, we will not fill each cell separately, but we will copy the formula. We used to show what copying methods exist, but we haven't shown the one that is the most used for formulas yet. This is because the lower right corner of the cell is used where such a black cross appears, and at this point if you grab and drag the mouse with the left button down, we can drag all the way down and the formula is copied. If you look at the formula bar in the individual cells of these calculations, we find that the address of the cell is constantly changing and moving in the direction in which we copied. We'll go back and show an even faster way that you can copy the formula to the end of the column. To do this, use a double click in the corner instead of dragging, and you see how fast it is. In such large tables which have thousands of rows, this method is very effective. Finally, in column F, we can summarize both of these columns again using a formula which refers to the individual fields, rewriting column F equals, and now I recommend not to write the cell addresses manually, but to click. That is, I click on cell D3, write plus, then cell E3. We confirm with enter. We select the cell with the formula again, and now we know that double-clicking in the lower right corner will copy the formula all the way down automatically. Note that this procedure only works until the first empty cell is found, so in some cases it must still be pulled down manually. Another group of formulas are logical formulas that use 6 comparison symbols: greater, less, greater or equal, less or equal, equal and not equal. These logical symbols are used in conditional tools such as conditional formatting or logical functions that work with conditions. It's interesting to see what result the formula will show when using such operations. For example, we want to find out if column H is larger than column I, or if it's equal to. So in column J, we write the formula equals cell H3 is greater than I3. The result of the logical comparison is not the number you might expect, but true or false. This formula can be copied, for example, to cell J4. And we see that 3 is not greater than 6. In J5, we test the formula to see if the side cells are the same. Cell H5 equals I5. You may be confused by 2 equals here, but it makes sense because the first equation starts with a formula and the second equation is for comparing the two values. Enter. We will confirm and see that this is true. We copy this formula to the cell J7. We can notice that the comparison of a cell with a capital J and a small j in the word John is evaluated as true, so this equality sign is not case sensitive. It works similarly for time or date. Again, we can test whether the cell H8 is larger than I8 or H9 is larger than I9. But since we already had such a formula in the column, why not to copy it all the way here? We can test that the standard procedure for copying formulas also works, using for example the keyboard shortcuts Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V. I will select the cell with the formula J3, then copy this cell using Ctrl+C and select the cells where we would like to copy the formula. The Ctrl+V command inserts a formula, and we see that it still works. The last type of formula is the text formula, which has only one character, which is called an ampersand, and it's written using the keyboard shortcut Right-Alt+C or Shift-6. It's used to join text strings. We can try it on the last table, in which we have 2 columns, first name and surname. We would like to make a full name out of them. To avoid having to create each cell manually, we use a formula that then copies the names to the entire column. In cell N3, we start again with the equals sign, and the text is joined by this formula: the cell with the first name, ampersand, and the cell with the surname. If we confirm the formula with the Enter key, we will see the full name without spaces, because Excel itself doesn't know that it should be in there. However, we can add it to the formula. Select cell N3, and in the formula bar, we add the space character to the formula between the two cells. We place the cursor after the ampersand and place a space character in quotation marks. The space is also a text, and it's a fact that the text must always be in the formulas in quotation marks. For the formula to work, we must put the ampersand character after these quotation marks, because each part in this formula must connect with the next one with this symbol. We confirm with the Enter and see that the full name was created. We take the cell with the formula and copy it again by double-clicking or dragging in the lower right corner, and we see the result of the text formula. Try it on your own. Thanks for watching, give a like, subscribe, and see you in the next lesson.